For sure. Yo, we are here. First of all, for
long time.
Oh man, for old time's sake, I just feel like it's good to see your face and to see the maturation of somebody I saw from the beginning of the grind.
Beginning.
Literally. Like
dorm rooms.
in real life. So it's so dope, and we'll fast forward. We could get into our history later, you know what I mean, for people. But Miss Sevetri Wilson, you know, we have the perfect type of dynamic to our relationship, in my opinion, to where I feel like we can have some interesting, meaningful dialogue that people could benefit from. You know,
absolutely.
We know each other. We cool. I don't think we agree on everything, but I think that our hearts are in the same place. And one thing that caught my eye, because I follow you on social media, was, you know, we all in a space in life where if you're not married, somewhere on your mind you're thinking about relationships. Mm-hmm. And yo, who am I going to end up with? What type of person do I want to end up with? And just in general, where does being in a relationship even fall on my list of priorities, you know? And you are a successful, attractive black woman who is, you know, cool, who is relatable, who is driven, all of these things. And I think you have a perspective that people need to hear, you know, in terms of what is that whole world like? Because a lot of men might look at, you know, women such as yourself and have a lot of misconceptions about what y'all really want.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure. Not just like myself though, but in general, right?
In general about what women want.
Exactly.
I disagree. Watch this. I'm here. I'm coming for you. So watch this. I feel like for the most part we know what women want.
Oh really?
I'm speaking for all men. All my men out there watching this, Eric. I think we know what women want for the most part. But
then what's the problem then, if that's the case?
The problem is like there's this woman that makes us say, whoa, hold on, that's like something different than the norm, meaning she's just as career driven as me. She might be more career driven than me. She might be making more money than me. What do she want? You know what I'm saying? Like that's a little different than I just want somebody who's not gonna cheat on me and who, you know, is a man of God.
That's true. Okay, we agree on that.
All right, so that being said, I also feel like there's a narrative out there to where a lot of successful women, such as yourself, tend to feel like men are the reason or the cause of not being able to successfully, you know, provide what you all are looking for. And I think that a lot of times, I just think we get the blame a lot of times. Men get the blame for like, yep, they ain't this and they ain't that, and that's why I'm not with anybody. And we just use the term off air, self-assessment. Mm-hmm. That I've learned to self-assess and to think about like, yo, who am I really? You know, not inside of my skin, but from the outside looking in. Who am I and what type of person am I when it comes to somebody actually being with me? Because a relationship, would you say a relationship is like it's like a business?
Yeah, it's like a partnership. I mean, literally, we talk about that, right? We say, oh, this is a partnership, but it really is. And particularly for someone that may be equally successful or really out there trying to get it, mm-hmm. It truly is a partnership, but both people have to understand that.
Right. So because it's a partnership, it's about understanding what does each person bring to the table, and does that make for a better partnership, or is it just people that are, you know, both appealing from the outside looking in, but who actually don't mesh well in the form of a relationship? And that's something that I'm curious. Like, you couldn't have two Michael Jordans on the same team. Mm-hmm. You know, you couldn't. Mm-hmm. You just couldn't. It wouldn't work well. But Scottie Pippen was the perfect Robin to Michael Jordan's Batman.
Right.
The perfect one. So when it comes to a woman who is obviously, like, how many hours a day would you say you are either physically working or mentally working?
Oh, I'm always on.
Always on.
Always on.
Always on. So for a woman who is always on, what if would you, like, does a woman like yourself even want a man that's always on?
And so, like, when I say always on, it doesn't have to mean like, oh, I'm always thinking about business, right? But I can have a conversation, and we're having a conversation, and something might lead back to, oh, well, did you think about this, or did you think about that, right? And so that's because I'm just tuned in to what, hopefully, in a relationship, what you want your lives to look like, right? And so I was listening to like Killer Mike, and he said that his wife is like his anchor. And when he wanted to go out and buy this fancy car, and instead of buying a fancy car, she was like, no, you said, remember what you said? You said you wanted to buy these apartments. So you need to go ahead and buy these apartments, right? And so to me, that's not being on, but that's being always being aware, right?
Okay. So what I'm saying is, I personally think that power couples, that term, I think is overused. I think it's over exaggerated in terms of how fulfilling of a relationship that is.
But we just started using that.
Power couples.
Like black people,
Yeah.
right? Like the idea that you could have a man and a woman both at the highest levels of their careers and doing it together, right? And so I think that people had never seen that before, because usually it's the man doing everything and the woman just kind of in the background, maybe holding it down,
right?
You know, maybe getting her Coretta Scott King on, but not doing things on the business end, right? And so I think that you're just seeing the dynamic of power couple, and black people are like, wow, like this exists.
So I feel like the word power couple, people have automatically taken it to mean, oh, that's JayZ and Beyonce. That's the definition.
Or Barack and Michelle.
Or Barack and Michelle.
Yeah.
People think that that's the definition of what a power couple has to be. But with each partnership, each relationship, it's about knowing what is y'all goal. If your goal is to become billionaires and serial entrepreneurs, then yes, a JayZ having a Beyonce by his side, it makes sense on so many levels. For your public image, you know what I mean? You got a woman that's just as well known, actually more well known than him, and that's your counterpart. She brings her own money to the table. So for y'all definition of a successful union and partnership, it makes sense for y'all to be with one another. I think that people strive to be power couples without individually assessing, what do I even want out of my partnership or out of my relationship long term? Like, what's my definition of success? Because for some people, it might be like, yo, if we can net after all expenses are paid, if we can net as a household $200,000 every year and successfully raise some amazing kids that we send out there into that world, you know what I'm saying? And if we have a great spiritual life, if we got a great, romantic life, if we're doing good in the community, we're blessing others, we're doing God's work, then I'm totally happy with my life, if that's what it consists of.
But to me, I look at that as a power couple.
But what if that means that so if that's the case, what if the man is like, well, sure, I made $200 by myself. So technically, like you don't.
Power comes in different ways, right? So you might look at Jada and Will, right, as a power couple. Although obviously we know that Will is the breadwinner. That's pretty obvious. But when you see them together, you're like, oh, that's a power couple.
So you don't think Jada is making $1 million a year?
Yes, but Will making 20.
All right.
So either way, he's still the breadwinner.
Right. So
if we're going by dollars, right?
Right. So I think that all right. So don't skate around this question.
Right,
I want
I'm not skating around
to know a woman such as yourself, because there's people that's watching this that see themselves in you. They're like, oh yeah, that's me. Like, I'm a woman, but I'm very career driven and whatnot. So at the end of the day, would you want a man that's just as busy as you?
So to me, I want a man that is equally yoked, but money is irrelevant to that, right? And so if equally yoked means that, oh, are you ambitious? Do you get up every morning and want to like give it 100% of everything that you have? Are you grounded, spiritually? Do you enjoy being around people? You know what I mean? Like the basics of things. I think that women who are successful are actually kind of moving farther away from wanting like I want him to be high powered and make this much money. I think people now are looking at like, you know what? I just want somebody that's solid.
Just somebody that's solid.
Yes.
So if he making a fifth of what you make, but he's solid, that's cool?
So, you know what someone said? If I'm eating steak and lobster, you eating steak and lobster too.
Okay.
And that's how I feel about it.
Okay. So what that mean in real life? That mean that if he's solid,
we eat. You know what I mean? Like
we eating.
If I'm solid,
it's
exactly. And so it's not like, oh, this person don't wake up to noon and eat dragon stuff.
Right.
Like, that's different. But you got some, you got some women.
Right.
That's
right.
That's what they got. But
right.
It's like if you only make X amount of money because that's just what your industry is. You might be a teacher, right?
Okay.
Hey.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, I was a teacher.
I know.
Right.
That wasn't even purpose of me saying that.
Exactly.
But you might be a teacher.
Right.
But you get up every morning. You're going to school, you're going to educate kids, and you're really passionate about that, and you love doing that, then what does it matter?
Mm-hmm.
Are we struggling? No. If I'm taking care, just because I'm taking care of stuff, meaning financially, it doesn't mean a person isn't contributing. Right.
So when it comes to dudes approaching an educated, high-powered woman, do you feel like dudes get intimidated, or do you feel like dudes actually don't respect, like, hold on, like, I'm not just anybody, like, if you're gonna come to me, you gotta be understanding of the lifestyle that comes along with it.
Yeah, no, I think most people that I have dated respect it. Either you're intimidated by it and I just don't even know, that there's anything there, or you approach me and you respect it. Now, it really, whether or not that you gel with it depends on in time, right? And so I always say that if you want to reveal insecurity in a man, and if he has insecurity revealed, let him date a strong black woman.
So dating a strong black
successful,
woman.
A strong,
man, stop with all that side jeffing, yo. We got a black woman here helping out with this production, and she's sitting there like, okay, like, stop with all that side jeffing.
I'm telling you, because you'll see the people on the outside, maybe on Instagram, they look like the strongest, most secure men. Okay.
That don't mean that they insecure, yo. Just because if you date a strong black woman, I think that, look, at the end of the day, what the word submission, what that mean to you?
Oh, here
what that
you
mean
go.
I just want to know.
What it mean to you?
I'm gonna tell you what it mean after you tell me what it mean. Hey, can we get some king cake? We're gonna keep this real New Orleans. It's almost Mardi Gras in New Orleans, y'all. We about to get a little king cake pie. I don't know if you eat that. I don't know if you too successful to if that's
First of all,
that's beneath. But the word you want me to go first? The word submission?
Go ahead.
Sure. See, she nervous now, y'all.
Oh, nervous.
Y'all know that's what just happened.
So I'm from
Hammond?
the South.
Yeah.
Hammond, Louisiana.
All right.
Mother from New Orleans, dad from Hammond. Grew up in a Southern Baptist church. I obviously know what submission is, right? And so I'm actually pretty old school, and I think that most black women do have like these traditional roots and what they see their family looking like. I think that some women may have issues with submission in probably the form that you're talking about, but for the most part, I think women do understand what that means. And yeah, like I've always been in a position where I always felt like, oh yeah, like the man is the head of the household, and X, Y, and Z. Like I don't see an issue with women fixing men's plates on Sunday for dinner, and like so I don't have an issue with that. And I can still be a strong black woman and a successful black woman and not see an issue with that, right? And so I think that most people have perceptions of what they think someone like me thinks. But I'm pretty traditional. So
in real life, I would say that a gripe that a lot of men would have when it comes to successful women is they're less of you get less of the nurturer that you might have been used to in like, oh, my mom was a nurturer, my grandma was a real nurturer, but dang, my girl, I'm attracted to her and I know she's a dope person, but because she's so busy or because she's so career oriented, like, she want me to cook every night, or she don't feel like, she don't make me feel like a man. And I don't know if you would look at that as an insecurity in a man, if it's like, well, I shouldn't have to make him feel like a man. He should know that he's a man.
No, I think that everybody wants to feel appreciated, right? And I do feel like people want to feel needed and loved and cared for. And so I understand that. And I do think a lot of women understand that. I do think that sometimes we're at battle with the world, right? And in that sense, sometimes a lot of that maybe hostility or whatever it is may come back home with us, just as it does with men, right? But I think that I've also watched a lot of women where it just didn't matter, right? It was still about the person wanting what they want or feeling insecure or feeling whatever. So I don't think it always leads back to, a woman who's successful is so dominant that she doesn't know how to make a man feel like a man. I think it's actually the opposite. I think women are just smarter than that, you know?
So do you think that if you were less successful that you would have easily been able to be like, I could find a life partner like much easier because I'm less successful?
Yeah, I do think that for sure.
That's sad, like that, to have to admit that. I think I'm like, oh shoot. So that almost puts a woman in a position of like, am I sacrificing love potentially to be out here and trying to be so successful professionally?
Yeah, I mean, you have, people have given me like ultimatums like, this is what, you need to move here, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I'm like, well, that's not my life. Not today, at least. My life today is what I'm doing, the business that I'm running. And so because of that, I've had to intentionally or unintentionally make sacrifices because I was and am career driven, right? But, now that I see what the long goal is, the end goal, right? And so in your 20s, you're just out here getting it. Like for me, I'm still getting it. But now I see, okay, what does my end goal look like, right? Because if you want kids, I see myself being married, I see myself with kids and all of those things. And first thing that men ask me, they're like, do you even want kids? It's like, yeah, I want kids.
That's a real question though. That's a real question from a man that's like, yo, you ain't giving up no vibes like you want kids at all. Like
what vibes?
I'm saying. Because
men don't say that on the first date, because they just see.
Because they have a whole list of questions that they're like, yo, this is a different type of woman that I'm dealing with here. So I don't really know her answers to these things. Do you know how to cook? Do you know like what's your thoughts on what I do with my life? Are you mad if I don't make as much as you? There's a whole bunch of questions that a man is gonna have if he's dealing with a woman that's like, yo, I wasn't accustomed to dealing with this.
Okay, so what questions do you ask women that you're not accustomed to dealing with then?
You ask them whatever's on your mind. So you ask them like, hey, say, you want kids? Like, that's a real question because you'll be surprised how many women out here will be willing to sacrifice being in a relationship or having kids behind that bottom line. Think about it.
I get that, but my question to you is how would the questions be different for being with a successful woman or being with another woman that you may not find as successful?
Because I think that a lot of times with the successful women, it's rare that a man feels as much of like, it's that innate feeling that we have when it's like, say, bruh, like she really feeling me. You know what I'm saying? Like I can feel it. Like she giving me the hard eye text. You know what I'm saying? And she hitting me with the thinking about you booze. But I don't think a man feel like he getting there from Sevetri. You hear me? Like. No.
I don't see a difference. I'm like, what are women who? To me, it's like if you're dealing with a woman, irregardless, you should hold her up to the same standard. Right? And so I don't see why the questions or the conversations would that much differ outside of potentially your backgrounds, things that you relate on. Maybe you have a higher intellectual conversation, whatever the case may be. But like the questions, the get to know you questions shouldn't change.
One of my favorite rappers, Nasir Jones, said, people fear what they don't understand and hate what they can't conquer. I guess it's just the theory of man. So think about it. If you don't understand something, if you're looking at a woman, a creature, like, yo, this is a different, a different version of the type of woman that I'm used to, then you could tend to fear that. And then if you get over that fear and you're like, I'm actually engaging in conversation with one. Oh, shoot, we actually texted. Oh, man, like, We actually going on a date. You know what?
But it's some of that fear and insecurity. So going back to insecurity, for me, fear comes from a place of insecurity.
Okay.
And so it's all linked.
So watch this.
Oh, here you go.
Look. In real life, there was a time in my life, speaking very vaguely, where I began talking to someone and engaging in, like, you know, I would say dating behavior with someone who, in the back of my mind, I was like, how in the world am I talking to this person? Like I never thought this person would give me the time of day, let alone want to talk to me. And next thing you know, it's like, oh, I'm actually talking to him. But in my mind, it's still like, from the outside looking in, no, indeed, this person is so, like, you know, well known or so, like, you know, huge that.
So what?
Who am I? I'm a blip on the radar. No, but that's what you're gonna. Yo, I
get it. Okay,
all right, it's the same as I remember when I was a little boy. Somebody who I knew was, what was the name of that group? B2K. So B2.
Go back on tour.
There we go. Oh, they about to go on tour. I won't be there, but yeah, but shout out to them. No, I'm gonna tell you why I won't be there, because this young lady who I was interested in at the time,
Somebody took your girl.
they came to New Orleans, right? They came to New Orleans, and literally she had the opportunity to meet them, and I looked at all the work I had to put in to get on her radar, get her attention, get her feeling me, and all they had to do was show up in New Orleans, and she was just like, yo, I'm there, you know what I'm saying? And it's whatever y'all want.
And that was a turn off. You were like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah, and I was just like, yo, that's
she wasn't for you.
No, she wasn't for me, but it also showed me that I think we all have people. Come on, man. Come on,
I'm
Sevetri.
listening.
Come on,
I'm
man.
listening.
I know you, yo. So I feel like you're a human. I know that, like I know that you're a person. You know, you're a real person. Because of that, I know there had to be at least somebody in your life that at some point when y'all began talking, you might have been a little, like, it's a difference between talking to a person that you kind of knew, like, yeah, we in class together. I see him in math class every day. Okay, he asked for my number, now we talking, we dating. Versus, oh shoot, like, I can't lie, I'm a little surprised that this type of person tried to holler at me, or this is different, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've had people tell me before, like, I got celebrities in my DMs right now, you know what I mean? And
what is that? Are they telling you that?
They telling me that almost like
you should be happy.
Like you better know, like I got real people checking for me. So almost like you better respect my mind, like I am somebody. And I couldn't.
What did you do to make them come up like that?
Hey man, I be making people mad. Yo. Like I don't know. And
You must have been flipping them out like
not at all. But it's interesting because the fact that somebody would say that, I can't even get mad at them, because it's like, I feel where you coming from, because I know when this one person that I'm talking about, who I never thought in a million years would even give me the time of day, I was literally shaking when I walked up to this person and like asked them for their number. Me, I don't get nervous, you heard me? I was shaking. And when it was like, yeah, like, bam, it gave it to me, and next thing you know, they responded, they hitting me, initiating convo.
These guys are in.
Yo, this was years ago though, when I was like,
they knew they was coming in, must have.
They was ahead of the curve. So watch this though. The fact that happened, I know it made me feel that bravado and that confidence to where I was like, man, look, I'm sitting there telling my boys and everything, like, boy, I can't believe I was really, talking to and getting to know this person. So I feel like we all have a little bit of that about us. That's how a guy. Imagine a guy feeling like that when it comes to a very successful woman. I don't think it's that abnormal that a guy.
I don't think
like that.
I don't think that at all.
So because of that, the whole point of that story wasn't just for me to like put my business out there. The whole point of it was I started to mellow down when I realized, wait, she's a regular woman.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? At first, it's like you look at followers online, you look at prestige, status.
But you know what? It's good to just think of people as like, oh, she's like a regular person or he's a regular person. Because if not, you start doing things that can drain you, right?
Yeah.
And so you feel like, oh, I gotta do this.
I can't keep this pace up. Yeah,
You can't keep that pace up.
I couldn't keep the pace up. Like I tried. I literally.
But yeah, like I'll see guys who feel like, oh, well, she dated such and such a past. I gotta do this, and this, and this, and I'm like, I know you tired because I'm tired of looking at you running around trying to do all this stuff. So I'm like, you got to go at the pace that you would normally go. You can still be thoughtful and still do things, but eventually you're going to be tired just from trying to keep up.
So everything you saying makes sense, but this was my whole point. She played a role in helping me feel comfortable, meaning because I did put her on this pedestal, when she started to actually flirt with me or hit me with a sweet text, I was like, oh, maybe we are on the same level now. So I feel like it's a woman's, like that's the thing is if a guy does feel like I'm really into this successful woman, but I don't know because the perception is that she's just always business minded and doesn't have an emotional side.
But you don't know until you get to know someone,
But
right?
I think it is the woman, correct, you got to get to know someone. And I think it is the woman's, like that whole, the days of playing hard to get, I think those.
See, I think guys play more hard to get than women.
Man, I need some king cake. Man.
Oh,
hey,
man.
Give me some king cake.
He wants some more.
Thank you, sweetheart.
First of all, guys absolutely
Never.
play more hard to get. I was literally about to post something about this recently.
I'm glad you didn't, because it's wrong.
Whatever. So I was basically gonna say, like, the whole I'm too cool for school, the whole like waiting too long to text back, although you read the text and you just too cool to see that you read the text.
Do that, man.
And you don't want to respond in 30. Yes, they do.
Little boys do that. Little boys do that.
Okay, grown men do it too.
Men don't do that.
Grown men do it too. But needless to say, I want to make a point that I don't want the cool dudes. I don't want the cool dudes that are too cool for school. Like, give me the person that's going to respond back. Give me the person that's geeked out to see me. You know what I mean? Like, nobody wants the person that's just too cool to show emotion, and has been an issue with men and women. It's like, just chill out and be yourself at the end of the day.
But are you that person that's too cool for school?
I'm not. No, I'm so not. I'm so not. I'm so not. Like, so many people have been, like, just surprised probably, like, when they get to know me because I'm so, and you said this when you introduced me, I'm so down to earth and just so chill that I think that even guys who probably came in thinking that was like, man, like, you really cool. Like, you really down to earth. Yeah.
So, do you think a relationship can work if both people's first love and true passion is their careers?
So I think that at some point it has to be like a merger, right? And so even for me, I'm like, okay, what are the things that I want in life? And I know I want a family in life. I know that I want, marriage. I see marriage for myself and all these other things. And I also know that something has to give. And so you'll listen to like Melly Hobson and Ursula Burns, who married much older. And so Ursula Burns goes by the belief that successful women have to marry older, because they have to marry someone that has slowed down in their career and are just kind of like, almost hitting retire. Like, they just cool. Like, babe, go out and do your thing, live your life, and we're going to be good, because that person has already hit their peak in their career, where now they're just watching their wife do their thing. And so her belief is that, yeah, you can't marry someone that's your equal in careers because y'all always in competition. It's like, who event do you show up for? Who award show do you show up for?
I agree.
And then y'all both just out there by yourself because y'all in two different spaces.
I agree with that.
And so that's her theory.
How you feel about that?
As a person, as a person who has oftentimes dated people older, it's different for black men though, because black men are...
We might reach our peak at a later, because we didn't have everything. We didn't have everything given to us.
Exactly.
We didn't grow up we weren't born into generational wealth.
So you're right to take the words out of my mouth, for sure. So like, I dated guys older than me, but they were still,
trying to come up. I'm still on the grind out here. I'm still eating king cake out of the paper plate. You hear me? For real. Forget this fork too. I'm gonna eat on my fingers.
Yeah, so it's a little bit different for like black women as far as when it comes to that. But there's some truth into what she was saying, right? By why it's so difficult to align with someone that's running at the same pace as you, because you're competing for time.
Yep, I totally agree. I feel like it is bad to look at JayZ and Beyonce's relationship and to say, that's what my goals are, is to be with my version of a Beyonce. Because when they got together and got serious about their relationships, their careers were already on cruise control. Meaning they had already achieved massive success to where there's no fear. A black man be having a fear that if I don't stay on, a black person, forget black men, a black person be having a fear that if I don't stay on my grind, I might fall off and go back to poverty. And I'm not trying to do that. So I gotta be on go mode every day career-wise. But with JayZ and Beyonce, the reason why their relationship is, I believe that's a real love that they have. And I believe they were able to form that through ups and downs, but they had time to do it as well. Because yeah, Beyonce gonna get in the studio and tour. Yeah, JayZ is gonna, run his businesses. But they got staffs in place to say, we can focus on our love. When you on that come up stage as a black person.
But what? They was still coming up though, because you gotta realize how long they've been knowing each other.
It wasn't still coming up.
Beyonce hadn't even, she was just going solo.
2003.
JayZ was still with you.
All I need in this life was saying, it's me and my girlfriend, that, and whatever song JayZ featured on for her. I don't know what song it was, but
that, they hadn't reached like mega success.
Crazy in Love. Beyonce was.
She was coming up, but she wasn't at like her. They've been together like 12 years or more than that, a long time.
Their relationship, I guarantee their relationship dynamic is way different and healthier now than it was when they first got together.
100%,
because they're in a different
100%.
place in life.
And so the argument that you could be making right now is that if you date someone successful, you just in it for the long haul. You're gonna have a lot of ups and downs and crazy time process.
And who wants that? Like some people built for that, and they don't mind. All right, we getting into this. We know eventually it's gonna be cool, but right now it's gonna be a lot of ups and downs. You're right. That could be something that people choose to sign up for. But I just think people need to stop trying to be JayZ and Beyonce. And
I don't know if they're trying to be JayZ and Beyonce more than they're trying to say, hey, can I find my equal and just dominate and just be trying to take over the world? You know what I mean? I think
Barack
it's more
and
about
Michelle are Barack and JayZ and Beyonce are great for what they are. But I think that people, that's what this whole concept of celebrity does to us, is it distorts our view of our reality. And I think that's what's really going on. Is I love Michelle and Barack's dynamic because you're right. As long as two people can totally be themselves and feel like they're able to do what God, ultimately called them to do and fulfill their purpose down here on earth, then you know what? There might be a season where, we good. I'm good. Yeah. I'm going to get a third piece of king cake. But look, there might be a season where Barack is going to be the breadwinner, or Barack is going to be the person in the limelight. Because guess what? He the president of the United States for these 8 years. But then there might be a season where it's like, Barack chilling, like, man, I'm cooling. Michelle, you got your book out there. You got your book. You shining, baby girl, go get it. And I think that's healthy when people are like that. But trying to compete against one another, I think that's something that does happen with some people. And other people, they aren't trying to compete against one another. But when you're really on your grind to the point where you literally, I have a song with Killer Mike called Never Clocking Out. And when you're in that mode of like, man, I can't clock out, I'm on the grind, think about yourself over like the last decade and the different seasons of I'm starting businesses. I think about myself coming up as an artist. Like, yo, I really can't afford to take too much time off. That being said, if you're with a person who's just like that, then nobody is a robot. Nobody is a machine. So when I do finally get tired and I'm like, man, I just want to kick it with my girl today. Or man, I'm going to be in town this weekend. I want to kick it with my girl. Because guess what, D? I'm just as busy as you. So I got a tour. You know what I'm saying? I got something to do. Or I'm not available.
Yeah,
I don't think that works.
I get it, but I think that... So, like, I don't think I'm that bad. But, for example, someone asked me, people always ask me, oh, are you dating someone, who you dating, blah, blah, blah. And recently, or coming into 2019, I was like, I'm not going to date at all for at least the first half of the year. Right?
Why?
And I'm doing that because I need to focus on my grind. All right? I need to focus on work. And I know, because I'm such a giver, that if I begin to date and maybe I start dating someone seriously, that I would have to give them my attention, right? And so there are things I would have to sacrifice on my work side to be able to give this other person enough attention. And so I think also some of it is coming into understanding what it takes to make a relationship work if two people have competing schedules, etc. And so for me, it was a realization of knowing that I have some things I need to check off the box this year, and my first half of the year is going to be nuts and insane, and I don't want to bring anybody into that.
See, that's what if you were with somebody already and you were gonna have that?
Well, it was gonna be what it was, right? It was gonna be what it was, and I would have figured it out. Right. But if you can, for me, if I could be like, okay, let me just focus on my career, what I'm doing work-wise during this period of time, and I think like that's okay, right? Because you always have to be careful because you don't know someone new is coming into your life, not someone that's been there for a while, which is a different dynamic in
way
itself.
Different dynamic. So when a man says that to a woman, I feel like we catch flack. You know, when a man is like, yo, I'm focused on my career right now, or I'm really busy right now, it's tough for me to prioritize a relationship. I think that
now we're talking about two different things.
What we talking about?
Because now you talk about I can't prioritize or be in a relationship, not that I can't date. And
what's the difference? That's the same thing.
I'm saying something different. I'm saying I'm not even going. I don't want to date anybody, so I'm not leading nobody on.
Hold on,
I'm
man.
not dropping dropping out.
You from the country? I'm from the city. I'm from New Orleans. You from Hammond.
Whatever.
Listen, when I say date, no, dating means being in a relationship. To you, I guess the word dating means
I'm talking about dating. I'm literally talking about dating.
You talking about the kick it stage?
I'm talking about you meet someone.
Yeah, that's the kicking stage.
Oh my goodness.
We don't call that dating. That's the kicking stage.
That's why we have issues.
Y'all just hollering at each other. What's good? How you doing?
Whatever. Because it's all relevant though, right? Because people feel once you start the kicking it stage or the dating stage, expectations begin to start at that point too. Right? And even though people may pretend like if there are no expectations, people feelings still get hurt in dating and the kicking it stage. So let's not say it doesn't. And so for me, I'm like, I'm not even dating anyone. So I'm not kicking it with anybody. I'm not trying to go really and seriously talk to somebody over dinner. Like, I just don't want to date right now, period. Now we're talking about relationships, but guys want to forever date. They want to forever kick it. They don't have, you know, but then
it's that narrative that I'm just like.
It become, oh, I'm not ready for a relationship. So I'm not talking about that.
No.
I'm not talking about
that.
Not true.
I'm
talking about being able to remove yourself and say, I'm not gonna even take it with somebody because I can't give them that.
What month is this? This the second month of the year.
Black History Month, baby. Tell the truth.
All right,
Shame the devil.
So watch this. It's the second month of the year. Y'all heard what she just said for the first 3 to 6 months. Man, you texting somebody right now. I know you texting somebody right now. On some level, you texting, you're text buddies with somebody.
I'm not dating.
But so it's okay to text him and knowing that's making his heart beat fast when he's like, all right, we doing something, like it's more than platonic texting. You texting somebody right now, but you knowing in your heart, but I'm not trying to get serious. But in some way, shape, or form, you still are scratching that itch that you have.
Baby.
Your phone
My
dry.
phone is dry.
Now why you got a password on it?
Because you password your phone for many reasons.
Right. If it's dry, you ain't got a password.
No. If you own your business, you got a password for a lot of things.
So your phone dry.
My phone dry.
That mug over there vibrating so much it's about to fall off the sofa, man. I'm sitting there looking. Cause your dudes are watching this right now and they like, oh no, they watching this on live and they like, oh I know she lying. Like, hold on, they hitting you right now.
No, but like, so that's one thing about me that's a little bit different though. Like, I've always been comfortable. I enjoy my alone time. Like, I enjoy being with myself.
Right.
And I think like that is something that even guys have an issue with about me. You know, like I'm the type of person that takes solo trips. Like, I enjoy my company. And so I've never been that chick that had to be in a relationship. Like, I've never been the chick to jump from person to person. Like, you literally had to catch my attention, right? And so I've just never been that person that just needed somebody in a way where I would sacrifice, somebody being too busy or about, no. I am the ultimate cutoff queen.
And my question is, do you think that same behavior that you just spoke to sometimes translates to even when you do have a dude that you're kicking it with or dating or in a relationship with, that you still have those tendencies that may be like, hey, I'm the ultimate, one woman army or just the ultimate, I enjoy my own company more than his sometimes.
Well, the thing is, I actually think it's okay to have your alone time.
Oh, it's important. No, it's important. But once again, being in a relationship with someone.
And so that's actually something that has been, when you talk about like the things that you've learned about yourself.
Self-assessment.
Right, self-assessment. I have self-assessed that about myself and have made changes so that my relationships are reflected in being a person that can be by myself, right? And so I feel like over time, I have seen like, oh, well, shoot, I see, what I was doing wrong in this situation or how I could have came out this way. And I've self-reflected or self-assessed and I've made corrections in future relationships, right?
Okay.
And so like, I admit, like, I'm not saying like, oh, women are just always, on the up and up and we know everything, we got all the answers, etc. I think that no woman believes that, although guys feel like maybe we do. I think that a lot of it is like growth in general. And so for yourself, like what are some things that you've done and you had to self-assess yourself and be like, oh, you know what, next time I'm gonna do this different.
I told you this off air and I say it again, is that I've self-assessed to the point where I've realized that I'm a person that's easy to like but hard to be with. So me understanding that, I could either live in that reality or I could choose to look at that and say, now how can I make myself an easier person to be with? You know, because I don't want to be hard to be with for the rest of my life.
Right.
I want it to be like whoever's with me, they're like, yo, it's actually very functional being with David. You know what I mean?
So what are some things?
So what are some things that have made me hard to be with? Number one, knowing the nature of the career that I'm in and the amount of travel or mental, work that I put in, to where it's not even always about physical work, but mentally working, that can make it hard for me to be a consistent communicator. So I've said, yo, I have to make a commitment because it's very true, we make time for the things that we want to make time for. So I've had to learn that I'm no exception to that rule. I have to do those. I have to do that. I have to make time for a person and make them feel wanted. You know, it's one thing for me to mentally know, like, I really want her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want her. Like, God, man, I really love her. But it's another thing for me to make her feel wanted and loved.
It's true.
And that's something that has to be reflected in your actions.
That's
also,
true.
You know how people talk about knowing what your and what other people's love languages are? I think that's important too, to know, like, what is your love language and being able to communicate that to someone.
Yeah.
Because I can't blame a person for not loving me right if they literally don't know how to love. If all they know is what they saw growing up, you know? If they come from a single parent household and they saw their mama, look at it like, yo, you don't never show a man too much attention because this what they did to me my whole life, baby girl, growing up, is they misused that attention I showed them and they took advantage of it. So if a woman grows up like that, then she might think that's normal because that's all she's seen. So learning that I have to be able to communicate how I need to be loved. And in order to do that, you'll be surprised how many people don't really know themselves well enough to be able to communicate that to others. And once you know yourself well enough and you know what your needs are, as long as there's nothing unethical or immoral about your needs, you should be able to communicate those needs that you have unapologetically and be proud that you can put it out there because it's going to lead to clarity.
Things you don't like, right?
Yes.
And so I think those are two things. I think sometimes women feel like, oh, I don't want to be like a nagger. Right?
Yeah.
And so,
it's not a nagger.
So I'll let something go and I'll let it go and it's really like eating you up inside when you really probably should address it early on.
Yes.
And I think that some guys will try to use that as like, oh, you nagging me or you tripping or that. It's like, no, listen. Like if the person is just not bringing, maybe you got a person that doesn't nag you, but if that's the case, that's a whole nother situation. But most people are bringing something up because they're hurt by it or it's impacting them. And at the end of the day, you want people to be like mentally sane, right? And so just don't do stuff like drive people crazy. So when we talk about expressing or knowing someone's love language, that means like, oh, a person doesn't like a day to go by without talking to you, even if it's like 5 seconds, even if it's like 10 seconds, or even if it's sending a text message acknowledging that you're thinking about them. Some people find their love language in gifts. Some people, like for me, I just like thoughtful things, period. And so,
like trips to Australia and that. Look, man, if I work at Walmart, I can't afford that. You know what I mean?
That is not thoughtful. Like, it could be simple things. That's the type of stuff that someone look at me and they think they got to go so above and beyond. Like, please don't hurt yourself. Try to date me. For real, don't hurt yourself. Like, it's simple things. Like, I'm harder to date because I already can do everything for myself, right? And so, then he was like, man, we met somewhere and, I fly my own self out. Like, I pay for my own stuff. I pick up the tab. Like, that's normal for me. Like, it's not a big deal for me to pick up the tab.
Even
some
for,
guys they be like, whoa.
for you and your dude.
Yeah, yeah, like that's normal to me. Because like dating is expensive.
But it's like just don't take advantage of that.
Don't take advantage.
Don't get to that point where it's like, yeah, let me get all 4 appetizers, you heard me? And like let me get 2 entrees tonight. You heard
But
me?
I dated guys who dated women who were super high maintenance, where they even paid for the dinner at their own birthday dinner. You know what I mean?
Wow,
Yes,
for real.
yes. So never. I dated guys who always picked up the tab, who always flew girls out wherever they went on vacation, and didn't even know what it meant to have someone where they felt like they were 50-50 or even freaking 60-40 or whatever, right?
Right. So at the end of the day, couple core questions that I think there might not be one blanket answer to these questions, but I think that can 2 very busy people that are still on the come up stage of their careers, yeah, can they successfully work? My answer is 98 out of 100 times no. Like that can't work.
I don't agree.
You don't agree?
I think that we're the generation that's going to speak otherwise to that. Because I think we're the first generation where women are out here getting it. And so if we don't have the dynamic where 2 successful people can align and like get it together, we're going to be in trouble.
So when we say successful, it's like, I think success.
You're talking about like run at the same pace.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, people should be able to be successful, but there's a reason why teams, you know, put players around who complement one another's skill sets as opposed to mirror one another's skill sets. And I think that forming a relationship with someone should be about a team as opposed to a preconceived notion of what a power couple looks like in 2019 or what's gonna make you look good when you post you and your girl on Instagram. They're gonna be like, oh, they both killing it, or like, you know, they both out here. Dang, him and her, you combine, you know, they followings together. That's huge. So many people are chasing that type of stuff instead of just what is your personal definition of happiness. And I think that's what I would like to see more people get back to. And reality is so warped that a lot of people don't even know what will make me happy. And let me be unapologetic about that. It might be being with the person who works at Walmart or who works you know, a retail job, but man, this person just does it for me. In all the ways I'm weak, they are super strong. You know what I mean? And in all the ways that I'm super strong, they need, you know, aid and assistance. But that's why we make the perfect team. And that being said,
So y'all hear this right? Y'all.
what's up, man? I don't discriminate.
David got his. Y'all done heard his type.
I don't discriminate.
Y'all done heard his type. They
She
know
could
this.
be the urban type or the suburban type. I like the working type. You could keep the twerking type. You hear me? Like, yeah, I got a whole song about it.
Exactly.
Coming soon.
So y'all, he got his type.
Yeah.
Holla at him.
So what's your type?
I already told you my type. Like, I like an ambitious guy. I like someone that isn't insecure, like knows who he is, right? And so when you see a successful woman in front of you, you don't retract. You don't diminish yourself. You don't feel insecure and like you can't, like you have to like live up to all these things. It's like be yourself, right? At the end of the day. And so like that's what I'm about. And just be a good person.
So it's really.
And all guys think they good people, right?
Lies.
Oh yeah, no, like
All guys think they good. Some dudes know, man, I'm not SHI. Like, some
nah,
dudes know
gotta be like, I'm a good dude though. I'm a good dude. No, you did some messed up stuff. You talking about I'm a good dude.
And all women think, not all women, but a lot of women think that if she's faithful and not cheating on you, that automatically makes her a good woman. And it's like, no, as men, we have other needs that need to be met outside of just, hey, just make sure that you ain't out there cheating on me or messing with no other dudes. There's other needs that need to be met. And I think that's what's being ignored in 2019 and beyond by a lot of women, particularly successful women. I had a woman tell me before, I was like, yo, let's have a conversation over some king cake. You hear me? And let's talk about what we could both do better moving forward in a relationship to improve. And she literally in her heart of hearts said there was nothing she could improve on.
Okay, and so I actually had the same thing happen to me, not over king cake, but I was like, oh, these are some things that I'm gonna be working on, and like being very transparent, right? You think you about to put your life out there?
And he said,
he was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
Like, keep living. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, keep living, and you're right. You do need to work on those things.
Wow.
And they felt very okay with themselves. You
Wow.
know? They have any. I was gonna say, you don't think
like,
you have anything wrong with you. You're like, no, I work a lot, but that's about it.
Wow.
But that wasn't like something they could work on. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, oh, you work a lot.
Yeah.
And so it goes both ways.
So even if you're a super successful person professionally, the whole point of, I think, this conversation and this story is we're all people who should be constantly seeking to self-assess, but also self-improve, you know, and that's in every area. But one thing that is important is when you have multiple facets to your life, I don't think you want to settle down with a partner who is going to leave a certain side of your life totally unattended to. Like they can't fulfill you or add value to a big chunk of what's important to
and that's
you.
across the board, because
Yeah.
I also know men who are highly successful who end up marrying women who are not as successful as they are, and they still have a void that they seek in successful women.
Don't do that.
Hey,
Don't
so
look at
it
me
works
like
both ways.
What? Look.
So, okay.
What? I don't know what just
It's
happened.
true.
But whatever. I know women who.
See, we can go back and forth,
I know.
right?
All right.
Because there's women and men who are like many things,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so I think there's successful women who know how to cater to men to make them feel like they're king of the world.
Are you one?
Oh, definitely.
I knew that. I knew she was about to say
No,
that.
but I actually had to come into that. So that's something that I'm actually saying about myself.
Okay.
That I had to come into that. It
Okay.
took a lot of.
Oh, this is gonna be good. No, because we in a good space. I want you to speak to, before you came into that, speak to some of the, like, what was some of the behavior patterns or the characteristics that you exhibited that didn't display that. You know what I mean? So other
Yeah,
people can
and so
learn,
I
like,
think
don't be like this. Look, y'all, don't be like what she about to say.
So the way I started off, just like my whole dating life, right, relationship life, is that I felt like very just naive to a lot of things. And so I was very much so this like loving, forgiving person, and then had that one person come along and knock you in your butt. And for a lot of people, it can jade people or make people like hard. And I feel like for myself, I became just harder in general in relationships. I was very much so like cutthroat, definitely less of a communicator, all these other things. And that previous relationship had hardened me and really made it hard for the next people. Mm-hmm. And then it kind of like I really had like an awakening, right?
You found Jesus. She had that come to Jesus moment.
No, but I think that as you grow and growth in general, you start to realize, oh, you got to let some of that baggage go, or it will just eat you apart. And so I came back into really who I was all along, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that it's also knowing that you can still be yourself. And so like in Beyonce and Lemonade, she was like, oh, I tried to become softer. I tried to talk less. And so a lot of successful women would think, oh, I have to be softer. I have to talk less. Mm-hmm. Because we're just generally like very opinionated people and we can come off very hard. And it's not that we aren't softer or that we don't know how to listen. It's because we also are opinionated, right? Mm-hmm. And we're strong. Mm-hmm. And so it's like trying to find like that equal balance. And I think like that's something that I have come into just in general, you know, like in general, I've come into a person that understands that I could be both strong and have an opinion as well as soft and be able to communicate and listen.
Congratulations. I'm happy for you. No, I'm happy for you because you just acknowledge like I'm in a place now that I wasn't, and if it's not about growth, then what the heck are we living for? You know what I mean? That's
what it's about. Learning lessons. So
that's what it's about. So I would say, in conclusion, they got a lot of dudes who work at Wendy's and Chick-fil-A who been in your DMs who you've been ignoring before we did this episode.
I'm a communicator, so
and you need to get them dudes a fair shot because you just sat here and said the dude doesn't have to be making us true or false. A dude doesn't have to be making as much as you, but you'll still be in a relationship with him.
Absolutely.
True, okay. As long as a dude is ambitious.
So you work at Chick-fil-A, but it's because you are trying to understand how to run a Chick-fil-A. It's because you want to understand how to own a Chick-fil-A. That's what we talk about when I talk about ambition.
Okay, so he can't be comfortable with being an employee? Not at Chick-fil-A. Let's say he's an employee at Microsoft.
Oh, well, yeah, that's fine. fine. I told someone recently, I said, I just need to get me a good old solid corporate dude that's coding for somebody. It's like, you know what I mean?
I know some of them too. You hear me? I know some of them too. We good. Look, you hear me? That's easy. So okay, and
two Instagram followers. That's it.
Oh, do you think?
And he posted 2015.
That's all I'm about to say. Do you think it's easier? Would you prefer to date somebody who's not a public figure, who's not super well known?
Yeah.
Yes, I know. Yeah. Because what you feel like a lot of with that attention and fame comes a lot of attention from the opposite sex.
Yeah, I mean, in general, I think guys could run into whatever, whenever, regardless, right? If not even present on social media.
Okay.
Right? And so, I've dated guy with no social media channels at all, and I've dated guys with a lot of followers on social media. And they all come in contact with women, period. Right. But the volume obviously is higher with someone who has a large presence on social media in general. And so thus, higher volume, higher temptation, whatever. And so I think that could be like an issue. I was watching someone's IG story, and they were talking about, she was talking to her boyfriend, she was like, you need to stop liking them girls' pictures.
Oh yeah.
Said, you could look, but keep on. I don't want to see you liking no chicks' pictures. And that was her love language, right? In a way, I don't like that. That's disrespectful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Ooh. And so God was like, oh, don't tell me, I'm just liking.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't say don't look. She said you could look, but keep on scrolling.
Yeah, I feel it. I actually feel that though, because I feel that. Because if I saw my girl liking,
all in the comments talking about woo, fire sign, like what?
Oh no, that's doing the most. Yo, I know some dudes that's married, and the sad part is they watching this right now. I know because they follow me,
in
like
DMs.
Yeah, consistently.
Somebody said they was gonna run everybody to Valentine's Day.
I saw that. Yo, I know some dudes, and I'm like, bro, you are married, and you're leaving public comments with heart eyes or with fire emojis under this Instagram model's picture who barely got any clothes on. Like that's unfortunate. Like that's unfortunate right there. So I feel that because that creates an insecurity in the person that you're with.
And it don't even have to be like that. You know what I mean? It's just such, it don't have to be like that.
Yeah, it don't have to be.
You know what I mean? That's
open disrespect.
Yeah.
So does that mean that you would all the way rule out somebody who has a large following?
No, okay. But I feel like you said, some people are on social media because they got like a purpose. Yeah. It's like they just not out there hanging out. Some people on social media because they trying to bag chicks. It's like this is they dating site.
Yeah, I feel you. That's what's up. So I feel it. I think I just wanted to have that convo about, and I think the thing that you skirted around this whole
I've been straight up.
The thing that you skirted all the way around was, at the end of the day, if you're saying that men want an independent woman, but not necessarily a busy woman, I'm saying, how would you conversely feel about being with a man that was busy as well? I'm talking about busy to the point where he wasn't always around when you would want him to be. Are you cool with that?
I think that if you date someone like that, then you know what it's about. But to me, it's like, okay, you guys are working, you know each other's schedules, when you have a block of time that you're blocking out for each other. You know what I mean? So I feel like there has to be communication, there has to be the understanding in place, and there has to be an effort that outside of the time when we can't be together, that we will be together, and I'm not going to be on my phone 24/7. I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? So I think that it's like, those are the things that really matter, right? It's about the time that you are together and you making the most of that, right?
Okay. So,
but you have guys that are super, super busy, and they're just busy, period. Like, even when they're off, they still on in a way where, and I said, like, I'm always on, right? But meaning I'm always in tune. But when I put my phone down, like, if I'm at dinner with someone, I never touch my phone.
Yo, if the dude is into the woman and if she's making him feel loved, he putting that phone down.
I agree.
I don't care who
I agree.
Is.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So that means you gotta do better to make him feel loved.
Trust me, I don't have issues like that. However, I think that it is an issue that sometimes guys just don't recognize, right? Because we so tuned in. Our generation is just so tuned in. We're out with friends. We're at brunch. Everybody on their phones. Yeah. We're at weddings. Everybody on their phones. Right. Like that's just like our generation.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's not that a person is even trying to be rude. That's just like all they know. And so I think like that's something that we have to like just really figure out. We're the first generation that literally gets to watch ourselves get older.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
Like your life chronologically, we just went through the challenge, right?
Yeah.
So you could literally watch we're watching our lives, we're watching ourselves get older, we're watching friendships, we're watching like everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like your whole story is on your social media page. Your whole life story is gonna be on your social media page.
Mm-hmm. Dang. That's serious. And yeah, I think the last thing that pops into my mind when it comes to relationships is I think the term like I want a man of God or a woman of God, I think that stuff gets thrown out there verbally, but I also think that that's the missing ingredient, yo. There's all these people writing these books about love languages and about this, that, and the third, and just trying to figure out, well, what's compatible with me.
And I think that it's also knowing that you can still be yourself. And so like in Beyonce and Lemonade, she was like, oh, I tried to become softer, I tried to talk less. And so a lot of successful women would think, oh, I have to be softer, I have to talk less. Because we're just generally like very opinionated people and we can come off very hard. And it's not that we aren't softer or that we don't know how to listen. It's because we also are opinionated, right? And we're strong. And so it's like trying to find like that equal balance. And I think like that's something that I have come into just in general, you know, like in general, I've come into a person that understands that I could be both strong and have opinion as well as soft and be able to communicate and listen.
Congratulations. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you because you just acknowledge like I'm in a place now that I wasn't, and if it's not about growth, then what the heck are we living for? You know what I mean?
That's what it's about. Learning lessons. So
that's what it's about. So I would say in conclusion, they got a lot of dudes who work at Wendy's and Chick-fil-A who been in your DMs who you've been ignoring before we did this episode.
I'm a communicator, so
and you need to get them dudes a fair shot because you just sat here and said the dude doesn't have to be making as true or false. A dude doesn't have to be making as much as you, but you'll still be in a relationship with him.
Absolutely.
True. Okay. As long as the dude is ambitious.
So you work at Chick-fil-A, but it's because you are trying to understand how to run a Chick-fil-A. It's because you want to understand how to own a Chick-fil-A. That's what we talk about when I talk about ambition.
Okay, so he can't be comfortable with being an employee. Not at Chick-fil-A. Let's say he's an employee at Microsoft.
Oh, well, yeah, that's fine. I told someone recently, I said, I just need to get me a good old solid corporate dude that's coding for somebody. It's like, you know what I mean?
I know some of them too. You hear me? I know some of them too. We good. Like, you hear me? That's easy. So, okay. And
two Instagram followers. That's it.
Oh, do you think
it posted 2015?
That's all I'm about to say. Do you think it's easier? Would you prefer to date somebody who's not a public figure, who's not super well known?
Yeah.
Yes, I know. Yeah. Because what you feel like a lot of with that attention and fame comes a lot of attention from the opposite sex.
Yeah, I mean, in general, I think guys could run into whatever, whenever, regardless, right? If not even present on social media.
Okay.
Right? And so, you know, I've dated guys with no social media channels at all, and I've dated guys with a lot of followers on social media. And they all come in contact with women, period.
Right.
But the volume obviously is higher with someone who has a large presence on social media in general. And so thus, higher volume, higher temptation, whatever. And so I think that could be like an issue. I was watching someone's IG story, and they were talking about, she was talking to her boyfriend, she was like, you need to stop liking them girls' pictures.
Oh, yeah.
She said, you could look, but keep on. I don't want to see you liking those chicks' pictures. And that was her love language, right? In a way, like, I don't like that. That's disrespectful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Ooh. And so God was like, oh, don't tell me, I'm just liking.
Yeah.
Well, she ain't say don't look. She said you could look, but keep on scrolling.
Yeah, I feel it. I actually feel that though, because I feel that. Because if I saw my girl liking, you know,
all in the comments talking about woo, fire sign, like what?
Oh no, that's doing the most. Yo, I know some dudes that's married, and the sad part is they watching this right now. I know because they follow me, you know,
in
like
DMs.
Yeah, consistently.
Somebody said they was gonna ruin everybody Valentine's Day.
I saw that. Yo, I know some dudes, and I'm like, bro, you are married, and you're leaving public comments with heart eyes or with fire emojis under this Instagram model's picture who barely got any clothes on. Like That's unfortunate. You know, like that's unfortunate right there. So I feel that because that creates an insecurity in the person that you're with.
And they don't even have to be like that. You know what I mean? It's just such. It don't have to be like that.
Yeah, it don't have to be.
You know what I mean? Like,
open,
that's just
that's open
okay,
disrespect.
yeah.
So does that mean that you would all the way rule out somebody who has a large following?
No,
Okay.
but I feel like you said, like, you know, some people are on social media because they got like a purpose.
Yeah.
You know? It's like they just not out there hanging out. Some people on social media because they trying to bag chicks. You know? It's like this is they dating site. You know?
Yeah, I feel you. That was up. So I feel it. I think I just wanted to have that convo about, and I think the thing that you skirted around this whole
I've been straight up. I've been straight up.
The thing that you skirted all the way around was, at the end of the day, if you saying that men want an independent woman but not necessarily a busy woman, I'm saying, how would you conversely feel about being with a man that was busy as well? I'm talking about busy to the point where he wasn't always around when you would want him to be. Are you cool with that?
I think that if you date someone like that, then you know what it's about. But to me, it's like, okay, you guys are working, you know each other's schedules, you know when you have a block of time that you're blocking out for each other. You know what I mean? So I feel like there has to be communication, there has to be the understanding in place, and there has to be an effort that outside of the time when we can't be together, that we will be together, and I'm not gonna be on my phone 24/7. I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? So I think that it's like, those are the things that really matter, right? It's about the time that you are together and you making the most of that, right?
Okay. So,
but you have guys that are super, super busy, and they're just busy, period. Like, even when they're off, they still on in a way where, and I said, like, I'm always on, right? But meaning I'm always in tune. But when I put my phone down, like, if I'm at dinner with someone, I never touch my phone.
Yo, if the dude is into the woman and if she's making him feel loved, he putting that phone down.
I agree.
I don't care who
I
he
agree.
is.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So that means you gotta do better to make him feel loved.
Trust me, I don't have issues like that. However, I think that it is an issue that sometimes guys just don't recognize, right? Because we so tuned in. Our generation is just so tuned in. You know, we're out with friends. We're at brunch. Everybody on their phones.
Yeah.
We're at weddings. Everybody on their phones.
Right.
Like that's just like our generation.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's not that a person is even trying to be rude. That's just like all they know. And so I think like that's something that we have to like just really figure out. We're the first generation that literally gets to watch ourselves get older.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
Like your life chronologically, we just went through the challenge, right?
Yeah.
So you could literally watch we're watching our lives. We're watching ourselves get older. We're watching friendships. We're watching like everything. Like your whole story is on your social media page. Your whole life story is gonna be on your social media page.
Dang. That's serious. And yeah, I think the last thing that pops into my mind when it comes to relationships is, I think the term, like, I want a man of God or a woman of God, I think that stuff gets thrown out there verbally, but I also think that that's the missing ingredient, yo. There's all these people writing these books about love languages and about this, that, and the third, and just trying to figure out, well, what's compatible with me is that much more to them because of their submission to God, you know?
Absolutely. And, you know, like, and that's irregardless. Like, you could throw the Bible out there. You know, I talk about Pastor Gray, but I felt Killer Mike, you know, when he was talking. And because he was like, my wife is my anchor, right? Pastor Gray was talking about my wife birthed me. No, you're not no child. You're a grown man. Nobody birthing you. You know what I mean? And Killer Mike was like, and with that, I respect and I take on that responsibility. And so like I told her, like, are you ready for the responsibility to date someone like me? Because there's like a greater responsibility when you're dating someone who's in the spotlight, a person that has a lot of success, etc. And some people, in general, aren't ready for the responsibility of showing up in a relationship.
Yeah, at the same time though, I know like Killer Mike's wife goes to the strip club with him.
And okay, that's their situation, right?
So that's the thing is the culture of each relationship is gonna be
different.
It's gonna be different.
But it's about like,
I know you wouldn't be cool with your husband going to the strip club.
With me?
Yep.
Going to strip club with me?
With or without you?
With or without me?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been to a strip club a couple times.
So I'm saying, but would you be cool with? But you're married and he's going to the strip club without you.
You know, I think that you going to strip club every night. Look. On bachelor night. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's big differences.
Yeah, not bachelor night. We married and look, man, it's Tuesday, man, I'm bored. Ain't no basketball games on tonight. I'm finna go to the strip club, the one right there in the east.
So, but that's not my type. You know what I mean? Like, my type is a person that ain't going to the strip club every Tuesday night. That's not my type.
I feel you, but I don't even know what I'm thinking about. I know just the idea of going to the strip club and being married, I just was thinking, I'm like, whoa, like.
But exactly.
Some people are okay with that. Some people's realities are just way different. I just think about if my daddy would have told my mama, said, B, I'm going to strip club. I'll be right back. Yeah. Like, I'm just thinking. You
went to the where?
For real, like, oh, so yeah, but that's totally normalized for
exactly.
So it's about figuring out. I guess I'm such a teacher at heart that I
want somebody to have an answer.
I like to spark dialogue, but ultimately to like get somewhere. And I was struggling at first with this of like, it's not like there's a one question that I'm trying to get an answer to and get to a destination, but I do think that a destination that we could probably both agree on is that when you know thyself and you love thyself, then you won't allow someone to disrespect you in a relationship. You won't settle for something that doesn't allow you to flourish and be the amazing woman or man that God called you to be. But also, you will understand that the culture of your relationship is going to be totally different from the culture of the next person's relationship.
And don't compare it to someone else.
Even if y'all could both be Christians. That don't mean every Christian relationship is the same.
No.
Yeah, exactly. Y'all could both be from the same city. Y'all could be siblings, and you and your siblings' relationships with y'all significant others could be complete. And you have to be okay with that, and you have to actually embrace that, because when you create a culture that is healthy for your situation, then that's when you're gonna truly be
all that matters.
The happiest person in the world.
Yeah.
The happiest two people in the world.
Yep, I agree with that. Like, just being able to be comfortable with someone, being able to like. I don't have to worry about that person out there, you know? Because we got a mutual respect for each other.
And an understanding.
All right.
I think that's dope. Well, that's a wrap. Yo, if y'all watching on here, this is Miss Sevetri Wilson. Anything you got to plug, shout out, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop?
I mean, we're both following each other, but you can check me out. My handle's my name.
At Sevetri Wilson. My name is my name. You heard me? That's my name. For real. So that's what it is, y'all. This is just a dope conversation with a dope person, and that's what I'm all about, man. Let's get it popping.
Thanks for tuning in.
Be real, be righteous, be relevant. Throw them threes up. You already know, baby.